I'm Tracy Gilchrist. I'm with The Advocate. Hi, thanks for chatting with me.
Hi.
I uh, I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to jump right into tough questions. This seems like a really present time to be looking at immortality in terms of big pharma and the ethics around that. And your two characters kind of reflect the good and bad of that. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about the timeliness first, and also the ethics around portraying big pharma in this way.
Wow. Well, oof.
Sorry,
Um,
it's early for
no,
me.
it's a good question, but it's going to need a bit of time to sort of,
Yeah,
think this one
unpack.
through. Yeah, I mean, for me, what was important was to get a sense of what these pharmaceutical companies were doing, researching certain characters that have maybe abused the system, what they did, uh, and all of that was sort of the I guess the foundations from which to build the character. And then you look into why these people do the things they do, their obsessiveness, their maybe they start off for a good reason and then it goes pear-shaped further down the line. I mean, it's such a complicated thing, but you're right. I mean, there's been elements of historically pharmaceutical companies behaving awfully. So that's a responsibility that I sort of had to bring to the character of Merrick somewhat.
Right. Thank you for that. Chiwetel, would you talk a little bit about the ethics and the kind of conundrum that your character finds himself in?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just to jump off what Harry's saying, I think it's that all of, I mean, with any of these conversations, that they relate obviously to our systems, the system of capitalism, and how that can encourage amazing things and great progress, but also can encourage all of this avarice and this destructive toxicity that is surrounding money and financializing all of these issues sort of ad infinitum, and why that causes so much destruction overall. All of the characters in this film kind of end up in a kind of mission creep when it comes to money and what they are trying to do and what they end up doing, and they cross all of these lines of morality, ethics, and so on. I mean, that's why when you're dealing with big pharma, when you're dealing with anything to do with people's health and sense of well-being, and that idea of things that are so connected and people are so vulnerable in those areas, that you have to be extremely careful that people aren't able to take advantage of those fears, those natural human fears, in order to create and generate wealth for themselves, in this sort of exponential way. That's always got to be the balance, because left to their own devices, people can be very difficult with those issues. And I think that this film is, I mean, it touches on it and it talks about it a little bit, but I think we're all surrounded by these kind of these ideas. I mean, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and all of these questions are going to rise up again, as we start to get through to I mean, obviously, the ideas about sort of vaccination, the ideas about if there's anything that's curative, and what that's going to cost, and who gets access to it, and who doesn't. All of these questions are going to start to arise, and it's very important that we're well equipped to sort of deal with that as it happens, in a way that is just and fair.
Great. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, 5 minutes goes by really fast, so I have to wrap. But I that was the question I really wanted to ask both of you, and I really appreciate your thoughtful answers. So thank you, and enjoy the rollout of the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.